It's happening. It's happening.
It's happening!
Speaking of which, everyone, remember to drink some water to hydrate.
Oh, I should do
Saying
that.
this subtly to signal to Kura that she should drink and hydrate. And yeah, as we get into this best of 5.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long semis and finals. So here we are gonna be spawning in on Simulac Rum. Yaha fiddle the LE by the seat of you with me. But E. You gotta lose your keys to get ready to be here in the bottom right hand corner of the map, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of the map. It is gonna be a blue Protoss all the way from the land of Korea. He is the shield of Ire. He is the Nick of Fury. He is the director of CEOs. Hey, representing the reigns that are being blessed down there on Africa Freaks. We have Stats.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Simulacrum LE, we have the Korean Zerg player currently playing for Triumphant Sun Gaming TSG. We have Solar.
Another.
What is that? What is that clan?
That's into the clan.
StarCraft 2 Community 2 into the clan. Why is there a 2 after Community?
Because it's the second one. It's a sequel to StarCraft 2 Community, yeah.
Alright.
The first one was right? You had StarCraft 2 Community, ESV Diamond.
Yep.
Now it's StarCraft 2 Community 2, Into the Clan, Boogaloo.
Ah, yeah, it's a sequel. Alright. I get it. And yeah, so far we have
trilogy.
we have a pretty standard openers. Solo going for a hatch, gas pool, which has been pretty standard, to say the least. It is pretty economic focused. Meanwhile, we do have Stats actually pretty interesting here, going for, as Solar is getting a third. Stats is getting a pretty fast Twilight Council.
You know what this is like.
Oh, and it's hidden as well.
I know what it is. We all know what this is. He's getting that printer ready, waxing it up.
Yeah, he's getting Blink. Oh boy, but yeah, he is hiding it quite nicely here in the natural, and Solar, he has yet to scout it. I don't know if he even will, because there is a Stalker here covering that one Overlord. So yeah, this could be pretty bad for Solar, especially since Solar, he is getting a third base as well. And ooh, this is a very interesting variant.
Is it though? I feel like this is gonna be, again, as we were saying, this is something that is starting to become more and more standard these days. DTs into Archons is a very standard build, but one thing that is interesting is that Stats just felt the need to hide it, which indicates to me that he really wants these DTs to do damage before he has to morph them into Archons. We'll see what the actual damage is.
Yeah. Of course, DT openers have been, are kind of, I would say out of meta. More commonly are Glaives, I would say, or even Stargate openers. So we will see how Solar responds, especially since, as we were saying, this hasn't been spotted. He doesn't have any spores ready. He doesn't have a lair. He's not gonna have detection.
No, it's just Roach
for this at all. Yeah,
no, it's just a Roach Warren coming out. Okay, does actually get a safety spore here in the natural base, but not anywhere else. If these DTs hit elsewhere, could be a bit of trouble there. But we'll manage to get a couple more spores So Solar should be fine from the DTs, but that's not the end of it for Stats.
Oh,
Just gonna
boy.
morph him
The
into
DCs are going
Archons.
to the main base. They're going into the main base, and they are going to be able to get a couple of worker kills. They aren't going for the Spore.
Oh,
as the
look
Lynx
at
are
the body
protecting
blocking by the Lynx. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So worth it right there. Just lose a couple of Lynx there, but manage to keep your detection up.
Yeah,
What
like
you
losing that
absolutely
Spore
want.
he would have just lost the base if that happened, especially since there is no Lair. Lair only just starting, so it would have been absolutely disastrous if that happened. But Solar, nicely done, is able to protect his Spore, and was even a little bit supply block there after losing that Overlord.
That he is. Meanwhile, this run by gonna do so much damage here. Gonna get a cancel. That was a kill. That was a kill. Right there by Stats,
God.
and yeah, this is not looking too well for our blue Protoss player. DT gonna be coming in here to help out defensively, but not gonna be doing too much there. That's one thing.
I want to say he was a little bit distracted morphing in the Archons, and it cost him an entire base to do that.
That's 400 minerals.
It's a lot of minerals. It's more than a hatchery.
It is.
It is.
I'll tell you.
Behind this, go ahead.
Yeah, it's not important. I was just gonna say I like the skins.
Skins are pretty good, and Stats behind this, he is getting Blink, which is interesting to say the least.
Soul trained it up. He knows he's up against Ravager Ling, so you gotta soul train it as much as you can. Yeah, I like this GT skin. He's got like a thingy, a pole arm.
Ah, yeah.
And some dreadlocks. Yeah, kind of like Darth Maul.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we do have a Spire on the way for Solar, which I do quite like the transition there. Again, I question Stats going for Blink. We'll see.
I don't know if he's up against Spire. You want that anti-air, and you want to be able to blink directly under them. It is definitely not as efficient as other units that Stats could go for. But at the same time, you know what? What would he get? I think charge is really good. It's a good for almost very versatile, but you know, glaives, you're not getting glaives against roaches.
Yeah, I would say that Blink is a nice, like, a happenstance blind counter to the spine. Spire. Yeah,
Spear.
as Stats, he still hasn't scouted said Spire at all yet. So in that sense, it is nice that he's getting it, but yeah, against like a Ling or a Ravager army, it is a little bit more uncommon. But we'll see how it comes into play here, as he will have Link Stalkers for defense against the Mutalisks.
These Links, man, they are just RIP and them Archons. They saw a free snack. Yeah. They just took it. Alright, Stats is starting to push out here. Solar doing everything he can to keep Stats back, and he does.
Oh,
this is actually a decent amount of Links.
Yeah, he spots that there's almost no workers here at the third base, so this should trigger Solar. Okay, I need to focus on army right now. A big push is coming across the map, and he does so. He is working on roaches, lings. He's making sure he doesn't get supply blocked, and oh boy, will he have enough?
That is definitely going to be the big question. Stats, you know, if you look at the army supply, keep in mind that that is deceptive because of how many roaches Solar currently has. In fact, this army of Stats versus the army of Solar, they are actually about even. It's going to come down to things like positioning, the force field usage, whether or not Solar can get a concave, whether or not Stats decides to go up a ramp. These Willis are helping out a ton.
He's trying to push up the ramp.
Eats quite a bit of biles there, but the blink forward, is it gonna be enough? There is a line here that does not seem to be moving. And in the end, I think Solar just has barely enough. No, a warp in by Stats is going to help a lot. Forced to pull the boys. But meanwhile, Stats is not looking too good on the worker front either. This is a base trait light.
Yeah, and again, I like the Solar did pull the workers, I think a little bit too late there. He did need them to buffer, and will he have just enough to hold on? He just needs to hold to win this game.
Where's the juggling? Where is the juggling? That's a good blink backwards. That's juggling by Stats. Not quite there, but he does manage to keep most of his immortals alive. Now only down to 2, and in the end, GG is called. Solar had Mutalisks. Sad to see that he could not keep that more Prism alive for long.
Yeah, GG. The Mutalisk completely destroyed all the mineral lines, 4 stats, really just 2 since his third didn't have any workers at all. And yeah, like stats, he was completely all in. Solar, he just had to hold, so it was okay if he lost the workers at the natural. He just needed to pull them and make sure that he could survive long enough for those mutants to come back home. And when they did, that was it. GG.
G followed by G.
Yeah. So it was honestly, it was pretty cool. What we saw, like Solar, he was able to scout and he was able to realize the push that was coming across the map. He almost didn't have enough. Like stats almost broke him. If it wasn't for those Mutalisks, then maybe stats he would have been able to transition out of that. But yeah, that counter damage, that was insane. I think we saw 44 workers went down for stats at the end.
We did. And, you know, 30-something going down for Solar, but yeah, in the end, sequence of events matters. And in fact, 44 went down for stats, and he actually made 49 the entire game.
There you go.
Alright, we're about to be jumping into our next map here. In the semifinals. Go Gordy.
There we go. Yeah, game number 2 will be on Eternal Empire.
LE.
LE, yeah. If you don't know what LE stands for, you will know shortly.
Will we?
I would hope so. I don't know what it stands for.
You know? Oh.
No idea.
Oh. What does it stand for, though?
I'm sure eggs are involved in some way.
What doesn't it stand for? And here we are in Eternal Empire LE. LE, of course, does in fact stand for passion. It stands for integrity. It stands for eggs. In the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, it is gonna be a blue Protoss. I got a question for you. Are you free?
Freaka TV.
Representing the Afrika Freaks, we have the Shield of Fire, Nick Fury himself, as well as Quirky's eldest. It is all the way from Korea. We have Stats.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE, we have the Korean Zerg player, Quirky's youngest?
Yeah, Quirky's youngest.
There you go. We
child.
have representing Triumphant Sun Gaming, TSG. He is Solar.
Hatch gas
again,
pool.
yeah, just sticking with that hatch gas pool, early third. Yeah, focusing on Le Economy.
Economy fools.
Yeah, LE Economy, if you will.
Yeah, what? LE. Right, so the economy is one of them, and then. Yeah, Le Economy. Yeah.
There you go.
I don't get it.
Look at that.
Anyway, we do see the, what do we see? End up coming out here for stats, very standard. Not really much to, not really much different from the previous game as of yet.
Yeah, pretty similar openers. I do think, yeah, actually the same openers now that he's also hiding the Twilight Council in his natural, just like game number 1.
Alright, but will it be Adepts or will it be DTs this time, Light?
That is the question, since you know you can do one or the other. As so far we do have a Robo coming down. Ooh, okay. And yeah, we'll see what stats decides to throw down as well. We'll see if Solar ends up scouting any of it. He didn't in game number 1. He was able to defend quite nicely regardless. So maybe he can do the same here on Eternal Empire. Oh, there you go. There it is.
There's that glaive, that tic-tac coming down from Stats. Yeah. And I actually like this way more than the DT build. It's going to hit quite a lot sooner.
Yeah, and I feel like this is... Yeah.
And it's not dependent on whether or not Solar has detection.
Definitely. I feel like this is more standard, and it's more standard for a reason. I feel like you see a lot more success with it. Earlier today, we've seen that even when this gets scouted, even if the Zerg player knows this is coming, this can still deal a lot of damage. It can still kill the third base. It can still pull your opponent apart, and it can just kind of snowball. Despite getting scouted. So we'll see how Solar can respond to this. We'll see what he gets ready, how many roaches he has, how he splits up his army, and whether he drones up his third in any way.
Well, I feel like standard is a relative term there. It's standard, but you know, it's but it's also very committed. Stats is gonna have to do quite a lot of damage before he transitions out and gets his economy up. Fortunately for him, Solar is only now finishing up that Roach Warren. So it's gonna take a little while for Solar to have that army that he wants, so he's able to split up.
For a while, he's only gonna have Lings here for defense, and they can do quite nicely if you get nicer rounds, but we'll see. I'm a little bit worried his third is droned up a little bit. He has been focusing on his economy, been quite greedy. He has a good number of queens.
Oh, one of his queens does get transfused. Yeah, the Sakura Shade, which is something I love.
It's not getting buried.
No, it is not. Stats now focusing on the high energy queen. Should commit to the shade here. It's gonna be a little while. Yep, does go all the way into the middle line of Solar. There are a couple of there are quite a lot of links here that do manage to get a full surround. This shade should finish.
Yep,
and these adepts are very low.
More adepts are being warped in, going for the third base as well, killing more workers. These ones do get cleaned up. Meanwhile, we do have more adepts headed towards the natural, but it does look like Solar has held.
That he has. He is down in the worker count, but on 3 bases, it can be a little worrisome in ZvP, and sometimes you do need that larva to produce units, but you know, if Solar just focuses on his economy, which he shouldn't, but if he does, he'll be able to recover pretty quickly.
Yeah, quite nicely here. He's also counterattacking with these links. He could find a couple of exposed sentries, but decides to back off in the end. And yeah, like, honestly, I think he held pretty nicely. I think he can focus on droning up after this and catch up in the economy. Because, yeah, like... This could have really snowballed for Stats, and instead, like, the third base stayed alive, and
well, it could still snowball here for Stats, which is kind of why I like what Solar is doing. He got a couple of drones, and then got quite a bit of army, and then after this round of larva, I imagined he'd go back into the economy because I don't think he can focus one way or the other. Because if he focuses on his army, then he's on a low drone count, Stats is going to overtake him. If he focuses on his economy, Stats just walks in.
Yeah, and he is not making any drones whatsoever. As you were saying, he is going for a bit of an all-in. Roach Ravager, Lings are flying across the map.
He not quite what I meant.
He does not care at all about drones.
Yeah, it is not quite what I meant, but it does seem that Solar has enough here. He's starting to bile down these, force fields. I do like what Stats is doing, trying to force field on top of these eggs to make sure that if Solar wants to bile them down, he'll be biling down his own units. Very hot pickup coming in. Stats with the clutch on top of that Warp Prism. But what will the Immortals do? There aren't a lot of roaches here. It's mostly just Ravagers. All of these gateways have been depowered, and I think we're about to see Solar come in here and match. No, actually, that was enough defense here from Stats.
Yeah, like Stats, he was able to juggle and keep his immortals alive long enough to the point where once all those Ravagers, which were about to all go down, there was just nothing but pure Ling. And without that Ravager support, it is very hard to crack the natural of the Protoss. Wow, GG, well played. There's a reason why they call him the Shield of Ire.
What's the reason?
It's because he's a big fan of Marvel movies.
Ah. I thought it was because he was bald and wears an eye patch. Oh, we got a group, please. Alright, so we'll leave that up to Kuro, who, or Soko, either or, which game they want Kuro to cast.
I kind of think Kuro should cast this one. Question mark. Just because we got a Zerg player, and
this okay. I mean, this is a best of 5, so this isn't going to be the last.
But it is Golden Wall though.
It is Golden Wall.
Should I leave you to?
No, I'm gonna observe.
You're saying.
I got your breath like, nope.
I am the observer.
Alright.
I like how excited Mapu was to play Solar.
I need to mute on OBS as well.
Yes, you do. Alright. How you been? How you been today? Yeah, how have the games been?
I've been fine. Yeah, it feels very different when you're just observing. You have time to like eat as Yaku is doing intros, basically. I mean, I could have done that during the regular streams too, but Are you gonna introduce the players?
Alright, and here we are, spawning into Golden Wall LE crew. What does LE stand for?
Legacy Extended.
Ooh, Legacy Extended. What does that mean?
I don't know. It's Legacy of the Void, but it actually lasts 5 years.
And there it is, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Golden Wall Legacy Extended, we have the Korean Protoss player representing Afrika Freaks. It is Stats.
And on the left side of the map, Golden Wall, which is apparently a wall that stops you from getting to Platinum. We have our Zerg player representing TSG, as well as Into the Clan, apparently. We have Solar.
I love how you tried to do the thing with Triumphant Sun Gaming. I appreciate.
I don't have the voice for it. I just don't.
I love it. Alright. So here we are. We're getting into another PVZ. Kerr, I have to ask. What do you think Stats is going to do? Is he going to go Twilight Council again, or are we going to see a Stargate?
Yes, he's gonna go for Blink Stalkers because he hasn't done that yet.
Oh, okay.
Because he's used to like going through all the upgrades. Like, what else can I pick on Twilight Council? He can go for charge. He hasn't gotten charge yet.
I was gonna say he did go Blink Stalkers in game number 1 when Solo went for Mutas.
Okay, let's go charge then.
Okay. I like.
I mean, charges are pretty good.
Sure.
Look.
Yep, he is getting a Twilight Council.
Like, no matter what the map.
I honestly, I don't like it. I don't like that. You're right. Like every single game, every single map, the same position. The pylon on the high ground, the Twilight Council on the low ground, and the natural.
The upside is that, like, in none of those games, like, Solar actually got to that part of the base. But once you actually scouted there, like, it's gonna be there.
Yeah, and to be fair, none of these games has Solar actually sent his Overlord in for a scout. Like, that just hasn't happened.
Few times he tried to, but there was a stalker to deny it.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Yeah, that is true. Typically, there is a stalker there anyway, so you just can't go in.
Oh, we have game 1.
Oh, okay, okay.
I mean,
To
he
be
can
fair-
still go. He can still go DT charge that. Okay, it can still happen.
Yeah, Archon charge lot, sure. I mean, it's a bit hard to swarm, but you know.
Like, isn't it quite common to like warp in DTs and then like reinforce with charge lots or zealots? I think I've
No.
seen that before.
Not gonna confirm or deny that. What I am gonna say is that Golden Wall is a pretty good map for Warp Prism in general, since the by air distance is pretty short. These two bases are pretty close to each other. Ooh, but I do like that Solar did already mine out those mineral patches.
Yeah, something that Solar has been doing consistently in all these games. He keeps sending like single links for scouting. Like he has vision all over the map.
Yeah, yeah. It is really quite nice, and yeah. I think he just missed it, so he doesn't see it coming out. It kind of defeats the purpose of
I feel like it was just on the edge.
missing the. Yeah, and he's missing these adepts moving out as well. So we'll see how good stats multitasking is to try and hit multiple places at once. Does cancel the shade, but the DCs are in. There's no detection. There's no spores. There's no lair. There's nothing. Oh,
The warp is though. The warp is
there it
nice.
is. Okay, yeah. And there was a spore here at the natural. That was such a mistake. Stats, he lost the War Prism. Oh boy.
The warp was just dancing around the queens, but not well enough.
Yeah. It looked like he was trying to micro the DTs, and it just like things got a little bit chaotic there, and he lost the War Prism, and that means that Solar, he's perfectly fine at home. Like he shouldn't be afraid of anything coming in at any angle. Like he's like, okay, I've defended, I'm good. He has to remake the War Prism, and now he's able to drone up behind this. He's able to tech up. He's getting his lair. And we'll see what he gets after this. We have seen him get the Spire. He may go for that again. But Stats has remade the Warp Prism. He's moving out.
Oh, look what he's doing though. Has he?
Oh.
Yeah, the wall is
It's
open.
moved out. Yeah. Oh no, we've seen this before. Oh god.
See if it's open, and here it is. At the same time, there are Archons coming, but he should be prepared? Question mark.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of defensive queens, and there it is.
I missed it. Rip. I missed it.
The Kura curse continues. Kura comes in, and it's a short game.
Yes. I still blame Demi. If anyone is upset that I only cast 5-minute games, then blame Demi. Okay. It's his
6
fault.
minutes. It's a solid
Sorry.
minimum.
Okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Soko. Yes, Soko redeemed that. And I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
go back.
Thank you for joining us, Kura.
That was a quick game. We are already now having Solar now on match point.
He is on match point, and because he is on match point, Yaku.
But yeah.
I think it's time for you to do the intros, as I don't think you've been able to do Solar this series.
I haven't. I did it in the
want to
quarterfinals, but like, you know.
Yeah, I don't want to take that away from you.
Yeah. Gotta get my G's on. Does that
Yeah,
mean
boy.
you're doing stats?
Yeah. Well, you could do it. All right. I'll do.
I just want to hear you say a freaka. Or a freaka. I just want to hear you say, "Or you freaka."
Going all Sundere on me, are you? So what's happening? Like, I mean, you don't have to cast stats if you don't want, but it would be nice if you did. I mean, I don't care.
I just like, I paid for my ticket just to hear Yeah.
So not milk. So not milk.
And you know what, Light? It all lined up in the end because here we are on Everdream LE EDLE, which stands for wait, I clicked the wrong one. Oh no, Kuro's in the controls. We have in the top right hand corner of the map, spawning in the top right hand corner of the map, it is going to be our red Zerg, all the way from the land of Korea. Is here representing team into the clan, but also going to be representing Triumphant Song Gaming TSG. It is in fact gonna be our red Zerg. He is, everybody give it up for Solar.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Everdream LE, and I was kind of hoping for Maddox to pull a crank and give us the translation of what was happening, but he didn't. We have the Korean Protoss player. He did?
Yeah. SXD. So it's either Stat Set XD or Solar Set XD.
or none of them did, and really the S was a typo, and he just did XD. It's possible that any of those could have happened, but Yaku,
yeah,
are you free?
Well, if I could get on a Freaka TV, I would be.
Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Everdream LE, we have Stats.
I'm really glad Solar decided not to 12 pool.
Oh yeah.
We had a good bit there.
Screwed.
Yeah, we had a good bit there.
We'd even completely ruined if the release got across the map. But it's fine. It's fine. We didn't have a.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like a much earlier link speed though coming out from Solar, especially considering he pulled the drones away. So you know what? We timed it perfectly. It all works out in the end. Thank you, Solar.
Yeah. In previous games, he did delay it to get an earlier third base. Specifically, last game he did so. So this time we do have a faster link speed. I imagine it was more safety related. Maybe he was a little bit worried.
Yeah, it is Everdream, the shortest rush distance in the current map pool. Sats is still getting those buildings at the same location. He's still chasing away the Overlord of Solar.
Yes, so we didn't get to hear your opinion on that, Yaku. What are your thoughts on Stats putting it in the same place every single game?
Consistency is key.
That's true. And you know what else is consistent?
Glaive the depths.
Yes.
Gotta wax up that printer.
Indeed. I mean, this is what won him the one game in this series. It wasn't necessarily the Glaive depths that won him the game. Yeah. It was more of Solar's decision and his execution of the all-in that preceded it. But
you could also argue that Stats he didn't exactly force Solar into a position of all-inning, to be fair, but yeah, I really highly doubt Solar would have gone for that push if he was in a much healthier economy.
Yeah, he didn't force Solar into it, but he gave Solar the option, and Solar made that decision. So if there's anything I learned from this series, don't give the youngest child options. Exactly.
Quirky, I hope you're listening.
Yeah, Quirky. Anyone out there who has kids, so do it. And do it. Otherwise, you know what will happen? They'll all in, and then it just won't work out. And then they'll be down 2-1 in ESL Open Cup Asia.
Wait, what? No,
but they could still win the series.
Yeah. Wait, what?
What?
Wait. Am I blind?
No. He's up 2-1.
Okay, Solar's up 2-1.
Yeah.
All right. I was like, wait, did I miss something? No, it's because it's happened before.
You know what? If you didn't give the option, then he would be fine. Okay?
Exactly.
It would have been a 3-0.
Exactly. There we go. Now we don't have to bother with who's up and who's down.
Yeah,
the Solar's up, right? Alright, the Glaives Adepts are in. This is a huge body block. Look at the surroundings. Gonna be able to get all of the Adepts. Does not actually commit to the Shade. Stats does not.
Oh.
But it looks like it's just enough here to at least wipe out the Ling count. We'll be able to get quite a couple of Queens here as well. And there are more Adepts coming out from this, so I think... I don't know, I think Stats might have just done it, but he does decide to pull on home. He's lost way too many units there, even if he lost less than Solar.
A lot of the decision to pull back a little bit there was how low that War Prism is. Oh, it's barely got any life left. Jesus Christ. And if that War Prism was sniped, it would have completely shut this down. But instead, it does live. The aggression does continue. There are a good number of Roaches here for defense of the third base, but the Roaches can't be everywhere one.
Does not commit to the Shade. There we have it, but that's actually pretty good for Stats here. He is well aware of what his Adepts can fight. And a small number of Roaches, that's fine.
Exactly, yeah, that's how this can snowball, because they can go toe-to-toe with small clumps of Roaches. And the Zerg player is forced to split up his Roaches because of how Glaives work, because of how Shades work even. So, Solar has to be a little bit careful here. He has to be careful with how he engages. He's going to lose another couple of Roaches.
Commits to the Shade. And this is actually, Solar, you know, he took a bit of a calculated risk, and it might have actually worked out for him. He is starting to really thin out this Adept count, but not by enough. The Shade, actually, he almost got a couple of these Adepts. The Shade does complete. And again, the Warp Prism is still there. It's still well alive.
But nicely done. The preemptive drone pool did save the majority of the workers, and Solar, he's currently ahead in the drone count. We'll see if he can maintain that as more and more Shades go through. I doubt Stats is going to commit to them. But this does kind of contain Solar. He is a little bit afraid to move out. I say that as there are Lings headed towards the third base of Stats.
Well, it's going to be a bit of a run by and a bit of a scout, you know, dual purpose, as we all like to see. Yeah, the wall is not quite a wall yet, but thankfully, yeah, the Lings were not in position to take advantage of that. This Warp Prism is so low on health. It does have its shields back up, but yeah, Stats is playing with fire a little bit here. Solar, definitely very vigilant for that, and we do see a massive increase in Roaches, Ravages, and... Will it work out this time? But meanwhile, we have a Soul Train coming out. At the same time, they are just gonna miss one another.
Oh no!
Base straight. Stats recall, which is something to keep in mind here.
That he does, and he's gonna run into the reinforcements.
Solar pulls back. He's gonna look to try to get us around here. He knows just where the army of Stats is, and now he's looking to try to get a sandwich. Galaudu Constitution finish a little bit before this. The force fields are looking amazing. Roaches have such a low range that these force fields can really help Stats out a lot. Solar does not commit to fighting this, but is being a little bit... it's definitely stretching Stats' attention quite a bit. Does have a run-by of Lings there, but I think Stats... He's feeling pretty confident about his army here that's pushing.
Yeah, honestly, the run-by doesn't really matter if this army kills Solar right here, right now. He's pulling the drones. He has to if he wants to try and push this back.
This is such a scrap fest. The juggles are really good in the end. Solar manages to take that series 3-0. 3-1. And guess what, Light? Guess what? Vivid just rated us with a party of 9. Thank you very much for the rate there, Vivid. Do appreciate it.
Shout out to Vivid. Thank you so much, Vivid, the Australian Zerg player, pro if you will. As we just finish up this semifinals, Solar taking down Stats 3-1, and will advance to the finals to face Trap.
And guess what, Light? We ain't gonna have a mirror finals.
Yeah,
we have been spared from the PvP. Solar, Corky's youngest, my boy.
He does it again. He takes down the oldest. He says, you know what? No, I am not doing the dishes today. And he will be going up against the Jinair Protoss in another ZvP.
Yeah. We'll definitely, I don't know, I might like it a bit more than PvP, but that might just be because you and I have casted so many of them.
we've casted quite a lot. We've already casted a lot today as well. So I do appreciate. I'm just looking forward to see how different Trap approaches this matchup. How differently I should say. Since stats, I don't think he ever went for a Stargate opener. For example, he did just stick with his Twilight Council openers. And he did have a little bit of variety with them, but
He had
even
a little bit.
Yeah, a tiny bit, a little bit of leeway. And in the end, like even though they were unscouted, like each time, Solar he had enough to defend. So
Generally.
we'll see how. Yeah, generally. Yeah, so I'm curious because Trap, like he obviously did have the option to watch the series. Maddox was casting in Korean, so he could have been tuning into that and seeing how Solar was playing, seeing how Stats was playing to try and adjust accordingly. We'll see what he comes out with.